Hello everyone and welcome to an unboxing of Warhammer Underworlds Weird Hollow. It's a mouthful, Skabbik's Plaguepack. And Warhammer Underworlds is fairly new to the channel, though it has existed for a while. I'm very into it, it's very fun, and this is the newest warband to be added to the game, so I thought it would be a nice excuse to do a little unboxing in case anyone else has discovered the game through my channel and are curious, what does it look like when you buy a warband that isn't a starter box? And this is what it looks like. It's very uniform. The box is always this size, it's always this shape, it always has the same kind of blurb on the back that we'll talk about in a second. But this is what it looks like regardless of what faction's warband you pick up, whether it's Weird Hollow or just like Shadespire or whatever else they've called various expansions for Warhammer Underworlds. The only other exception is the rival packs, where you get the models from previous starter sets without any of the gibbons, like the books and things. It's purely the models, and it's a cheaper way of getting those if you didn't want the starter set stuff because you've already got one. But anyway, this is a Skaven faction, the Plague Rats specifically. The Great Horned Rat, is that who they serve? A disease Skaven of Skabbik's Plaguepack scurry through the caves of Weird Hollow on the hunt for ingredients to brew a great plague. They're essentially Nurgle rats. I think their god lives in Nurgle's garden from memory. They always show off a miniature at the actual size it is, over here. And they always show off that it's easy to build because they're all push fit. I don't know why push fit is their unique selling point for Warhammer Underworlds. It is. I don't think that's that great. I'd rather they not be, but that's okay. We're going to crack into this and show you what you get for Skabbik's Plaguepack. Alright, I've cut open the side, made a bit of a mess of it, but it is now ready to open. And as I open it out, I forgot to mention, for anyone who's not familiar, the warbands in these packs are usually very affordable, like especially by Games Workshop's normal price gouging. I got these from a third-party retailer that stocks Games Workshop stuff. Got it for just over £20. It was $20.79 or $20.89, free postage for everything we're going to see. Comes in a nice little parcel. The Headsman's Curse came in exactly that same type of box. Used to be plastic. I guess for cost reasons or recyclable reasons, they now do these little cardboard tombs, which sounds like kind of cool, honestly. Didn't need to be hard plastic. Or soft plastic, I should say. Of course I had it upside down, because of course I did. Read this first. You can't tell me what to do. So we have ourselves our instructions with the push fit instructions, numbered of course, for everyone you're getting here and what they should look like when you're done. So it is a 6-person warband, although one of them is literally just a little rat carrying a warpstone, I think, not an actual Skaven. I'm not sure what gameplay purpose he serves yet, but we'll certainly take a look. Then the most important part, of course, is the sprue. It's Games Workshop sprue. I'd be very surprised if anything was wrong with it, but if you want an idea of quality, that will hopefully do it that way. It fits in better, I think. That will hopefully let you know. Each warband tends to come in a different colour plastic that's apt for who or what they are. So if you don't paint, they're an apt colour, but you can tell the difference at a glance on the table. Like even two Skaven factions will probably be different coloured plastic. That's the kind of thing I'm meaning. There's a hair there that I don't think is mine or my dog's, because I've literally just opened this. I think it's a bit of filming actually. Anyway, there's some more. And the great thing about warbands in Warhammer Underworlds is they all come with great detail, scenic bases, everything. They all feel unique. There's no multiples of the same pose or the same unit. It lets them really flesh out each model individually. Makes them a pain to paint if you're not very good at painting, but makes them all feel really great. I really like that surgraying one. I wish the Batman bases looked like that kind of thing. It'd be so nice. Or that one, honestly. Any of these would be perfect if Night Models is watching. And then finally, you get their Rivals deck, which is the pre-prepared deck of their objective cards and their Gambit's ploys and upgrades. I'm going to grab my scissors and we'll take a look at these. Alright, the plastic wrap is off, so you start with the lower card. Also, if the particular warband has some kind of like special mechanic, it will usually be on one side of this. Oh, in fact, they do indeed have a plot card. That's because this group's special mechanic is that they corrupt the era, and I believe numerous of their objective cards are tied to said corruption. So that's what you want to do before they get wiped off the board. If you want to read it in detail, it is of course there. And then it always goes the stat cards for the units, starting with Skabbik Plague Seeker, who is the boss, you can tell by that. And he's got 4 health, that's pretty good. Moves 4, he dodges on his defense die, Got one base attack that has Grievous, so it does extra damage on a crit, and his Inspire condition is 2 or more territories are corrupted. And I think an area is corrupted as long as you have 1 or more friendlies on an objective in that territory. Is one way, I'm sure there's other ways. So Inspired side, again, these are the newer Underworld style cards that are just wonderful. They look fantastic. They're very easy to read compared to some of the other ones of the older warbands I've seen, like the Crimson Court, for instance. And it's really high quality card. Like, I'm not worried about it getting damaged without the need for sleeving, for instance. So then we have Rabidus Skench. I see. There's going to be some names, huh? He has a minion and a Befouler. I think they all have the same criteria for inspiring, incidentally. Oh yeah, what changed on his Inspire side? His attack. He gets 1 extra die, but it changes from hammers to swords. Okay. Oh, and his defense changes to shields instead of dodges. I guess he gets tankier. So he's got a scything attack as standard that does 2 damage. That means he hits everyone in range. Inspired, it goes to 3 dice, but also changes to swords. Then we have Itch It. What you shouldn't do if you've got a boil on you, you should not itch it. It will explode and deal heavy psychic and poison damage to you. And yeah, it looks roughly the same, although no, his special rule stays the same actually. Rabidus's doesn't. Pox licks. Yeah, don't lick your boils either. That will much result in the same kind of problem for you there. He's got a 1 damage base attack. It goes up to 4 dice though, so he doesn't do much damage on his Inspired side there. But it's really consistent because you're rolling 4 dice, which is pretty rare in this game. Ricket, which is another minion with a woe staff and fetid blade. These names. Yeah, it gets a bit stronger as well. The gimmick also seems to be them going to swords, although he already was on swords. And then we have the mascot, I guess, Skritter, minion Befouler. He has an infected bite, he's got the lurgy. Worthless. If this fighter would be taken out of action, remove it from the battlefield and clear all counters and persisting effects from the fighter, it is not taken out of action. Huh. So he is a way to befoul areas without any real fear. They'd have to waste an activation to remove him. He doesn't give glory and doesn't actually die. So that's pretty interesting. Does he have an Inspired side? He does. What changes? He gets an extra dodge dice. I think that's all. I don't see any other change. The changes usually from uninspired to inspired side are usually not super specific, or super different I should say. But fantastic art, really great. Like they go all out with the quality for this, and I think also the fact that they're charging a relatively cheap price for it implies to me they really want to push it and up the player base for it, because they're being very generous by Games Workshop standards. So then we have what should be 12 objective cards and 20 various gambit cards. Not necessarily going to go over these in massive detail because, as I say, the main purpose of this video is to help introduce more people to Warhammer Underworlds. I would like it to be more popular than it is. So to ease you in, I'm not going to go over the gameplay for these guys because I don't know them. I haven't read this deck yet, I haven't looked in advance. So I'm sure it's all about corrupting, poisoning and killing. Would be my guess. It's a very adorable picture. I will, however, show off the art, and if you want to pause on each one, feel free. But how much each objective is worth is below there. That is a wonderful picture. I know it's meant to be disgusting, but I like nurgly stuff. So I know that not nurgle necessarily or directly, but oh hey, I'm about to paint him. No joke. I just finished his goons today. Anyway, oh, they've got a 3-point score. That's going to be hard. Scuttling Horde, yep. Spreading Filth, I do that anyway. Useful Distraction. Oh, that's the rat! Smushed on the floor because somebody stood on him. So that is the 12 objective cards. I didn't count as I went, but I'm pretty sure that was 12. And then we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah. 20 gambits, ploys. I don't think they had any spellcasters there, so I don't think there's any of those. But they always do the upgrades at the end as well, assuming this is the right way up. Restricted to the boss. Oh, it's getting stabbed in the gut. Overpowering odors. So these are all just fantastic art. Really, really like the art they have on these. Like if you miss Blood Bowl having this art style, this is where to go to get it, because Blood Bowl kind of went like a goofy style that I actually quite like as well, for the record, for different reasons. But if you want like classic, like look at that, Like, that is how you get it. That is very nice. Vile fanaticism, voice of the great corruptor. I'm the voice of the great corruptor. Listen, obey me, worthless minions, me. Yep, sounds like a Skaven, alright. So that about does it. There isn't much to a warband box for it because there isn't much need. You just need the models and a rivals deck. You can make your own decks if you play the Nemesis format. I prefer rivals where it's pre-made, you know what to expect, and it's held within certain limitations that I feel balance the game better, at least from my limited experience. You get your assembly instructions, of course, and that's all you need outside of a starter box, which you can obviously pick up separately, which they're also selling at a reasonable price to, I think, try and entice people in or back to the game. The same quality of sprue you would expect from Games Workshop, very high quality, super simple, reasonably priced. Shop around, don't buy direct from them. I would say buy from a third party so you can get it at 20% off, and it's cheap. And I guess it varies from value to value. Some warbands are 3 models, this one's obviously 6, but the 3 models you get are like big Sigmarines or whatever, so it balances out. But worth looking into. If you haven't checked out the playlist, I encourage you to do so. Give it a chance. It's a quick game, it's a very tactical game, it's got hidden depth, and the models are great. So that's going to do it. I might do more unboxings of various warbands they add to the game in the future, depending on if it's something that takes my interest, of course. But we'll see. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. It's that for now.